James Webster reports from Aberdeen in South Wales.
They've been clearing water here all day. This is the aftermath of Storm Callum, which posed its biggest threat here overnight.
Police knocked at 4 o'clock this morning with a bus to evacuate, but none of us really want to leave because this is our home, so we don't really want to go anywhere.
Well, tonight the river level here remains high. It's fast flowing and carrying debris. The bridge here also remains closed, as are many other flood affected routes across Wales. There is still an amber warning for heavy rain in place till 6 o'clock tonight. That's in around 40 minutes time. Then it's downgraded just one level to a yellow warning until midnight. Right now there are 28 flood warnings and 43 flood alerts, with a potential for hills to channel more water down to here. The risk of further flooding hasn't gone away yet.
Yes, it might seem like a strange thing to do, really, to travel all the way down here when this is supposed to be all about Hull. But what you've got to remember is that Hull 2017 isn't just about putting on a big year-long party for everyone in Hull. The whole point of this is to attract visitors from all over the country to come and sample Hull, enjoy the show, and hopefully leave with a better image of Hull than they perhaps started with. That's why the culture team arrived here this morning with some big announcements.
Are you ashamed of yourself, Mr. Bayes? This is a dramatic fall from grace by anyone's standard. Did you bring the council into disrepute, Mr. Bayes? Stephen Bayes arriving at court as serving city councillor to be sentenced over a series of images on his computer described in court as grotesque and deeply unpleasant. Giving him a 12-month prison sentence, the judge told Stephen Bayes, "You are still in denial. Your reputation lies in tatters. For the next 10 years, he will be on the sex offenders register and be banned from using any computer that hides his online activity." After the lorry came off that bend up there, you can follow its path by looking at the paint marks that have been put down by police. They show that the wagon came back onto its own side of the road, but then there are scrape marks along this grass verge here. We know that the wagon hit two parked vehicles down here before careering across the road and embedding itself in the house opposite.
And our reporter James Webster joins me live now from the scene. James, just heard some strong reactions from local folk there in Chloe's report. What are they saying to you?
Well, the most obvious reaction here is the growing collection of flowers here behind me. Just a few minutes ago, another group of people came to lay tribute to their friends in disbelief, really, at what's happened here over the last 24 hours. They've been coming here in large groups. To lose 4 young lives in such circumstances is going to have a significant impact on the community around here. Many families will be touched by what's happened. I was chatting to one lady here. She was in tears on the doorstep, remembering what she saw in the early hours. Yes, there's a serious police investigation, but first and foremost, this is a community grieving for lives lost. Senator Mezek, half of the recommendations still not completed. I mean, it's simply not good enough, is it? If this was a school report, that falls below even must do better, surely.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think that it will ever be good enough for Jersey's children, because we want the absolute best possible for them in every sense.
This does leave parents in a difficult position, because many will have been budgeting for this extra provision being in place from September, and they're now wondering whether or not that's actually going to happen. Do you understand the difficult position that this puts parents in?
I understand that parents absolutely desire and want choice when it comes to education provision for the early years, and they would want to make sure that any decision is a decision that is compatible with private sector providers as well as public sector ones.
They were told, though, this was happening. You're now saying it might not.
Well, again, we are working towards that policy.
Is your aim still to provide this extra nursery provision in September?
As I said in the States, the policy has not been ditched. It is something which we are working towards.
Well, this is the Alexandra Business Centre. Let me just show you some of the damage. This door here normally has 10 panes of glass in it. Every single one of those is smashed. Moving along, we've got a window boarded up here. These windows all have holes in them and have had to be filled in. It gets worse around the corner. Pretty much every ground floor window has been smashed. And then look over here. This is the National Fishing Heritage Centre. The main doors there, those are boarded up, and again all the ground floor windows around there have been smashed too. The damage here was reported at around 3:45 in the morning, but police say that came at the end of a night rate of mindless vandalism, and they're not mincing their words about how seriously they're taking this. Yes, this is Queen's Gardens in the centre of Hull, where I'm standing in the middle of what has been for today the children's assault course. If you take a look over here, we've got a whole maze of red and white tape that the children have been running through, and all manner of different obstacles, cargo nets, walls, and all manner of different things. They've been coming along here, they've been going over this thing. They've actually got water pipes to jump over, and then these enormous pipes to crawl through. And as you're going through here, thankfully, they're not too muddy. They've cleaned them out, and the course, it's actually quite long, and I found that bit quite exhausting. Thankfully, the children who've been here weren't quite so worn out. But this is the most prized of all the lots, a carousel of horses more than 100 years old and still in full working order.
Last time it had a reserve price of £180,000. This time it may go for less.
What sort of people are you looking for to buy things?
We're looking for people that remember Pleasure Island, that came to Pleasure Island as kids, and maybe remember it for all the nostalgic reasons.
This is my first time at the West Show, so the team here decided that I really had to throw myself into a very traditional Guernsey activity. It is something I've never tried before, lawn mower racing. I have to say I was slightly concerned when I had to fill in a form, effectively signing my life away, but take a look at how I got on. That is really quite difficult, but really good fun. I think he let me win that one, yeah?
And that's the ITV News in the Channel Islands at the end of the first week when all our islands are in lockdown. That forecast of warm sunshine at any other time will be an invitation to head out and make the most of the weather. Not this weekend. Staying in has never been more important. And when you see those empty streets and beaches, the advice is don't think of them as a cause for concern. See them as a sign of hope that we're all working together to beat this. From all of us here, look after yourselves, take care and stay safe. Good night.